Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you all around the globe. And welcome to another intimate conversation. And today's guest, we have Janine Savient with us. And I'm so thrilled to have you as our guest today, Janine, and your beautiful heart. And I look forward to our conversation.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be invited here to share our heart space with each other and with the world. Thanks,
Beautiful.
Mandy.
Thank you. All right, so I'll just read this intro that you've given us here, Janine. So thank you again for that. So Janine brings many gifts to our world, and some of those being an intuitive, visionary and messenger for love, and her focus and purpose. Through her awareness of life as a multi-layered reality, Janine knows that there is magnificence to be found within every human being on this planet, and that no one is exempt in their connection to the flow of love that is found at the highest and deepest level of all. This magnificence, loving presence within every human being awaits discovery, and once reconnection is made, life transforms in the most incredibly beautiful ways. This is the journey of body, heart, awareness. The truth is, as to who and what you are is found within the journey and connection. Janine lives within the gold frequency of love. This beautiful frequency is building in the heart of the earth itself and beginning to touch deeply into people's hearts throughout this world. It is one of the new frequencies arriving now as this reality rises in vibration, deeply nurturing, highly creative, and passionately connected to truth, integrity, and transparency. This beautiful golden hue is being witnessed more and more as body awareness and heart centeredness is realized and lived by growing numbers. Gold is a frequency of thriving. This so is. Teacher, mentor, and support person, Janine is here for those ready to awaken to themselves beyond and the stories of the mind. Truth of self is found within the love for self that awaits discovery within every human being. Janine has an intimate relationship with love, and she certainly does. Janine is known to many as the Heart Lady. So Janine, is there anything that you would like to add into that intro?
I guess that just that probably a little bit about my life may be relevant, so that as we have this conversation today, people can understand a little more as to why I see life like I do, and because there's often what I see as reality stretches a lot of people's own ideas and beliefs. So I was born wide awake, and I had experiences with my reality was multi-leveled, multi-layered right from the tiny child, and my friends were in this realm and in many other realms, and the most beautiful, benevolent, loving beings that would play with me, and they seemed to come down in the rays of the sunshine is how I always saw them as a child. Of course, that's the light that encompasses them, that they are. But to me as a child, I'd see a ray of sunshine, and then in would pop one of my ethereal friends to play. And it was no escapism from a harsh life here, because I had a very beautiful, loving, solid, physical life here with my family as well, even though I lived in the technicolor realms and they lived in the black and white ideas of life. But I chose that family for a reason, and as I grew, I was very aware of why I did. So they brought me many pieces of myself for this life experience. So as a small child in bed, I would lie at night time playing with the field around me, with the vibrational field. I could see it. I could make it change colour with my mind. I could make different designs, ladders and stars and diamonds with the field. And it didn't take me long to realise that nobody else saw life the same as me at all. So I was kind of a square peg in a round hole, not only within my family, but within my entire area that I lived in. As I grew up, people often use the words bizarre or crazy or witchy or ridiculous. That was a favourite word of my father's. But, it taught me to stand firm in my knowing and my truth of who and what I am. As I grew into late teenage years and joined my first spiritual group, I had fabulous physical verbal connection with the beings that I'd always known, and then masters and angelics and extraterrestrials and all sorts came through our channel within that group. She was amazing, and right through bringing up my family in the early years, there would have been probably about 8 of us in that group. We all had young families, and all of us had an etheric doctor, a mother figure, and many other masters and angelics and that helped us rear our families and bring our families up in a deeply spiritual, open way. And then, of course, in 2011, on the operating table, a higher aspect of my soul energy came through into this body, and after 5 years of blending into the cellular memory within this body, I can now say that I am one with everything that this cellular memory of this body holds. So it's all me now. But I did have to change a lot of my life. I had to leave where I'd lived all my life and move to a whole new area of the country so that I could be the differences that was me, and not live in the ideas of the old me that everybody around me, all my friends for years, my loved ones and that, all still were expecting the old friend to be there, and she wasn't. So leaving was the very best thing that I could do. And so I've my whole life has been spent in a multi-layered reality, and that is natural for me. So I help others also. That is just part of what I do in helping others realise themselves as multi-dimensional, multi-layered as well. And we are so much more than just this physical body. We're so much more than our minds. That's the biggest bit of all, is to get out of the mind and get into the heart, because the heart is the portal through to the multidimensionalness of ourself. So that's a very quick synopsis and brings us up to date with me right now.
Beautiful, Janine, thank you. And I love the part about where you say you needed to move away from those around you because they were connected so much into your old story, your old program. And I so relate to that. I know for myself, we've moved so many times, and it's not because we're running away anywhere. It's because growth takes us into new places. Sometimes we do have to step out, or it's better for us, easier, I suppose, to step out of the old stuff and
absolutely move. Yes, absolutely, Mandy. We know the changes that are going on within us. We can feel that expandedness that comes with growth and change, but those around us they're either in their own growth or they're in their own stuckness, whatever, and they just see everything from the same point of view. So of course they're going to look on Mandy or Janine from who they've always known all their life, naturally. Right. And when we've got a huge piece going on in us, a whole new layer and level of us, we can't be live and be their expectation. So sometimes it's easier to just pack up and move than it is to stay within the friction and the resistance of what's going on. You know, and for me, I kind of lived down in the South Island of New Zealand in Christchurch most of my life, 90% of my life. And so I just gave everything away in my house, gave it away or sold it, put 2 boxes, 2 suitcases and my cat in my car, and drove up to Auckland, to the main city in the North Island, and started again. And here I am still around this area. So yeah.
So Janine, did you find it hard to do that though? Like, was it a hard thing to leave everyone and move into a place that you weren't, you know, familiar with, say?
The only ones that that I needed to do a lot of work on myself to hold the connection, to move into the love that I had for them and wanted to grow again, was my children and grandchildren. I didn't want to lose that connection at all. But for everybody else, I still was developing my my blending into my cellular memory. So I didn't have the deep friend connections. So it was very, very easy to leave the area. I remember one friend, and she was a very close friend, and we've been friends for years, and she said to me, I just can't understand the difference in you since your operation, Janine. And she said, you could actually pack a suitcase and get on a plane and take off without a backward look, couldn't you? And I said, yes, very quickly without thinking. And I saw her hurt. And I thought, oh gosh, you know, so I did sit down with 3 close friends at one stage, and I let them know what had gone on in the operation, and they were very relieved to hear that there was a reason why they were feeling I was somebody very different. So when I blended with all the cellular memory, I kind of lost sight a lot of from where I'd come from, because I had full memory of where I had come from into this body. I kind of lost that connection quite a bit over those years, but I then had all the memories of the friendships and all that. I don't have the emotional connection, but I have all the memory. So it's like viewing it on a screen without any emotional charge, you know. And so I remember the love that I have with my friends, and with one of them I've grown that deeply again, you know. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And growing that deeply again from a new space. So
yes.
Yeah, that's so lovely. And I know for myself, whenever I've had that deep knowing that this is where I needed to go or needed to do this, it was done without the emotion, because you just have this total inner knowing that this is what is right for you at this time.
Absolutely.
So it really makes a difference.
Yeah, it was very important to me that for my children and my grandchildren that I kept that connection and grew. And that was, you know, grew that deep love, because I didn't want to walk away from those relationships. They're too precious. And so, yeah, I've grown a deep, deep love for them from the level of me now. And it's just wonderful. Just really, really wonderful, you know. So, yeah, they're very special beings that have come into the family. I don't just say that from a mother, Nana point of view. I say that from the higher soul consciousness, that I have some very special beings within my family, and I recognise that. And I was to be there to help nurture that in them as they grow through life.
Totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? When we know, when we can see it and we're aware of it. I think it's so, and I you know, I think this is what has excited me all my life, this lifetime, is because I've known it all the way through. I've known what I'm here for, why I came in at this time in this lifetime, as you would have. It's like there's this real deep knowing and understanding of my whole journey here this time, and this time it's made it exciting because of the awareness, you know. So it's so fun.
And you know, the thing, just before we move on, the thing also is, it doesn't make it any easier to have that knowing, does it, Mandy? I mean, at times, because of our deep knowing of life, it actually can make it harder at times, because a responsibility comes with knowing, and we, you know, whereas if you're yeah, if you're asleep to those layers and levels of life, and your life is all about the physical only, that responsibility is not there, because you can't be responsible for what you don't know. But
That's
when you do know, you know.
Yeah. And there's been times in that knowing I've realised that, you know, it's allowing, which sounds,
Yes.
you know, allowing your children to go through the journeys they need to go through. And for me, I've always seen what they were before they came. And so for me to be able to have the strength to step back enough to allow them to experience what they've needed to experience has been difficult sometimes. And knowing also when people are going to pass over. And the way they may pass over, you know, those things have been a knowing for me, and it's been, like you say, it has been difficult at times, definitely.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I was just going to say not wanting to really give it away, because I love the gifts that I have, and they're me, you know.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to get rid of it, but I did often question why I needed to know those things.
Yes. Yeah, just a part of your deep openness. Yeah, you know, for me, I call the early aspect in the body Janine Mark 1, and I'm Janine Mark 2, although it's all one now, it's all one complete energy. But Janine Mark 1 was a rescuer of her children, and so she would jump in and, or you know, I would jump in and rescue every time I saw them floundering, because I didn't want them to hurt in that. And then, but when Janine Mark 2 came in with the higher vibrating version, I would step back every time and allow them to have their experience, because in rescuing them, I was stopping them having their experience, you know. Yeah, so but they noticed that change. Them, I was stepping back because I didn't love them anymore, rather than stepping forward and showing my love and rescuing them, you know. So there was a huge learning, and over 2 or 3 years in all that from my children, wondering why mum wasn't there to help like she always was, why she wasn't there with all the answers, why she wasn't the rock always, you know, but stepping back and letting them have it. So yeah, that was a big time too. Lots of learning always.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as spiritual, aware beings, you know, we know that rescuing isn't healthy.
Not at all.
We just know that. But of course, as a hearted human, we feel that that's really our thing, is to help people and to help them move through, or not have to experience so much pain. But yet that is the experience they require sometimes, and we come to
the greatest
support.
Yes, the greatest support we can be often is to step back rather than step forward, you know. But I mean, I also have to ask, and of myself as well as others, if you are a rescuer, as I was, what is that part in you that needs to rescue? What is that piece that's having to, is it because I wanted to feel loved by my children that I'd be in there doing that? And, you know, so yeah, there's always growth for everybody involved in everything.
Definitely. And I remember with myself, it was around protecting people. I had this real heaviness around, and it was heavy. I didn't realize how heavy it was until I looked into it, around needing to protect spiritually everyone energetically. So I was sort of like an on guard all the time around everyone, even at the centres I run, all the facilitation, you know, the groups and everything. It was that I needed to protect them and keep them safe. And again, that was that, and going into it, realising that that was not a healthy thing, that everything is experience, and they needed to experience whatever they needed to experience. It was none of my business. You know, exactly. And who gave me that job? That was the question. Like, who gave me that job? Nobody gave me that job. I thought I had it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, but it is, there's a lot to learn, definitely. Yeah. So, Janine, we look around us in our lives, and for many it's looking pretty grim. What is your perspective in what is happening in the world?
So right now we're in what we've termed for years the Great Awakening that was coming. Well, it's no longer coming, it's actually here, and we're right in it now. In fact, we're actually in the end times of it. So, you know, it's been going on for years and years and years, and now that everything is coming to light and everything is being revealed, we're actually in the end throes of it. And so how long it goes for is entirely up to all us within it. So it's about waking up to the truth of who and what we are. And we haven't known that for eons of time because we've been dampened right down by being mind-fed by every area of our societies. Every area of our societies have kept us in our smallness, in our doubts and our fears, and deliberately fed so that we would be easy to be manipulated and controlled. And because we never knew any difference, because we've always lived to survive rather than live to thrive, we've accepted it as our norm. We've accepted ourselves as small and inconsequential. So now it's, and over the last few years, gently people have been waking up. Apart from those such as you and myself and others that have always been awake, and we've been here deliberately here on purpose, for purpose, as well as our own personal growth, of course, always. But the many are awakening up now, have been over the last 10 to 12 years or so, especially. And now in these times, it's like it's a mass awakening. The only way you're going to get a mass awakening is to corner people in fear. So you put fear right in a person's face and they won't keep looking at it. They'll start looking in another direction, in trying to find a way out of that fear. And that is what's happening now. Everybody's worst fears are coming up from deep within them, held for lifetimes sometimes, and steadily fed upon and built upon life after life. And now it's like smack, fear is right in the faces, cornered, nowhere to go. So start looking around the edges of fear or over the top of fear, which really that is symbolic for saying the only place to go when you're cornered and you can't go anywhere is you go within. So, and what is awaiting in there is that magnificence that I mentioned in my profile at the start. There is everything that we are that we have not known, well, most have not known, is sitting within there waiting to be discovered. And so fear is actually, rather than a foe, it's actually our deepest friend at the moment, bringing people inward. And then the spark, they find that spark. People such as you and myself and many others on the leading edge here are right in the throes of awakening hearts up all around this world, simply by being that example of the light and the love, of the pureness of ourself. B, by talking in conversation, by even the vibrational field that people come into. We have so many areas that we are helping to awaken people at this time, and that's our purpose here at this time. Rise them up, and then the whole new world comes up as well. So the grimness is actually, the world looks like it's in chaos now, but actually the truth is it has always been in chaos, and now it's actually coming to perfection. So it's revealing itself as all that stuff in us is revealing itself as well in the building of the new world.
It's amazing, isn't it? And it's become like you can really feel it. Like it's a tangible thing now that you can actually feel is happening. I mean, when I really sit and feel into the vibrational state of this planet now, it is amazing. It's like so vibrant. And
absolutely.
The fear, I love how you're saying about the fear driving them to look somewhere else now. And that's a really profound little thing. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no other way it would ever happen. People get too settled in their comfort zones, and you know, everything. So there's always somebody in authority that will take care of everything. Well, that authority is letting people down left, right, and centre now, and that's deliberate because they're actors in a play, and the play is all about bringing the fear in to awaken, and it's like the fear comes in to awaken us into love. You cannot be in both states at once. So you live in fear, you awaken into love, then you live love. So that's the cycle. That's the cycle.
It is. Oh, so cool. I just, you know, when I birthed in here, I knew this time was what I came in for. And, you know, my frustration's been living through all the drama stuff the human me had to go through or chose to, or just didn't know how else to do it, really. Because I feel like we didn't actually need to do that. It was only that we weren't remembering, we weren't quite onto it enough not to. As soon as we can get it, we change that, don't we? So, you know,
well, we have a lot of karma. Yeah, we have a lot of karma as well from previous lifetimes, and in this life, we are releasing all karma. All karma is being released in this life for those that are going into the new world, those whose souls have chosen for them to experience the new world. Because karma is the heavy karma of past lifetimes is way too low a vibration to be able to enter into the vibration of the new world, the higher vibration. So everything's being released that cannot be a part of that new world. So all our lives have been releasing all that karma and the karma of our family lineage as well, you know. So we're it, girl.
And like, again, I'm so excited about this time. I know there's a lot of people in that fear, and they're looking at the world as being, you know, chaotic, like we've been talking, and that there's no future now. Where is the future? They're not sure. There's you know, they're stammering around, basically lost, a lot of them. And I see that's where our mission now, as such, our purpose is really to help those that are coming through, and we become the bridge from that third dimensional realm into this higher realm, you know. So it's but it's really showing up now, and like I say, I'm just been excited from the time I birthed in this time. So Janine,
you know, just before we pass on, it's just following on from that, you know, when we're in our fear, just lost the thread of what I was going to say. That no, I've lost the thread now. I have to wait for it to come back. Sorry, carry on.
Alrighty. So, will everyone ascend into the fifth dimensional consciousness, do you feel?
Eventually, everyone will, but not a lot of them not in this lifetime. So in this lifetime, there is a very clear choice, and some souls aren't finished with the 3D experience. They still want the point of consciousness that's here, playing in the 3D realm of duality and separation, and the huge spectrum of deeply negative to highly positive, and the freedom of choice offered within that. They still want to experience that for a few more lifetimes. So some will not go into the new world, and others will. And so some will pass and be reborn into the new world, and others will retain the body and move into the new world. So we have these camps, if you like, these areas now of clear choice happening. And it's all through people's choice within their life now. When something's presented to them, for them to make their choice, what feels right for them in the moment, and that shows the direction that they'll move in. And that's happening right now, right around the planet.
And what I'm noticing, Janine, is a lot of men that are choosing to exit the planet and obviously, you know, reborn into something, another place within time and here. But a lot of men, more men than women. the moment.
Okay. Yes, I haven't got that in my awareness that there's more men than women, but I do know that a lot of souls have decided to leave. They're just finding it way too much, way too heavy, and so they're deciding to just leave. And a lot of them will be reborn into the new world. And so we still hold to our choice of what our soul wants, whether we decide to stay here or not, whether we decide to separate into which direction we want to go or not. It's all simply experiences for us. Doesn't matter. There's no right, no wrong. There's just simply experiences. Do we want to carry on in a reality like we are now? And some people are very happy and comfortable to do that. Do we want to, although that reality will be very different to this reality here, it'll be even more controlled and more rigid than what we know of here, but that's all experience. Or to go into the new world where it's going to be no rigid and it's just going to be flowing, and we're not going to have duality or separation. It's going to be all about oneness and community and unity. So, and it's all good either way.
It is. Yep. Absolutely. So, Janine, how are we creating the new 5D world?
We're creating it right through ourselves. We are here as the points of light that are birthing in the new world. So as we go in, as we discover the magnificence in ourselves, as we, with every piece that we face within ourselves, every aspect that comes up that's not of the vibrational level of the new earth, and we fold that. I say to people, face it. Say, hello, doubt. Yes, I see you, or regret or guilt or whatever it is, judgment. I see you, and I am so deeply grateful for all that you have shown me, brought to me through the lifetimes. And now I fold you with love and gratitude back into my heart, and you'll feel it resolve in yourself. And there's another piece that's moved into the higher vibration of light within yourself, no longer a heavy aspect that fills your perception of life, but a higher aspect of light that gives you a completely different perception. So that's how we're birthing the new world. As we move, as we rise, as we change within ourselves, we as the master creators here in this reality, and all life being a reflection of our personal realities here, when we come together as a whole, we are birthing in the new world through us. So that's how powerful we are.
Exciting.
Yeah,
I love it.
Is.
Yeah. So, Janine, are there do you feel off-world, off-planet civilizations that are helping us in this ascension and transition?
Absolutely, there are quite a number. There's even a number of civilizations that aren't well known here, to the masses, that are actually helping. There is many involved in this ascension, because when this earth rises, this entire area of the universe rises, which moves into the whole universe. So we are the starting point of an ascension rise within this universe, and it will happen throughout all layers and levels of this universe eventually. However, in saying that, there is many that believe that particular races like the Pleiadians or the Syrians or the Arcturians or the Orions, that they believe they're going to come here and they're going to help us with this. In other words, we're going to be rescued by them, and that is not going to happen, because we are them. We are them, and we're already here. And we are the feet on the ground. I call us the ground crew. We're the ones in the trenches, anchoring our light from our civilizations here right now. And so we're already here rescuing ourselves and doing this. And there are beautiful, huge craft that are up above the earth in the atmosphere now, that have been watching and waiting for a very long time, and there's beautiful, beautiful, benevolent beings on those crafts from many civilizations, but they too are aspects of us that are here with our feet on the ground. And so I know this personally because I've been on the craft and I have met aspects of myself in a few different, very unusual forms and guises. But I, of course, recognize me straight away. So, and I know this for many others. And I know this of some very close friends of mine here who, when I have been called onto a craft just recently, probably about a month ago, a call went out where I was just straight out of the body, in my light body, and I was stepping onto the floor inside a huge craft. And here was one of my very close friends to the side waiting. She was waiting for me, and we just went straight into these double doors together. And it was a big announcement because we both knew it as we entered the doors. We took one look around the room, saw a lot in there that we recognised from down here, and then all memory was taken from us. So when we came back, we had no idea what that massive announcement was about. But we were excited to be there. So it was a good announcement, and we're absolutely certain that it was just another piece of the puzzle of the new Earth being closer, and a big announcement to be made. So yes, so we are being rescued by off-planetary forces, but they are already here, and they are us ourselves, doing it for ourselves.
Yes. I remember having a huge moment, which, you know, was a bit of a breakdown moment too, I must say. I went into quite an emotional space, but was hearing a woman channeling through, being a trance channeler and opening herself to the Council of Many. And as soon as she started, the conversation came through her, I knew, because I knew that I sat on a council, and I'd been going so vividly, going in my sleep state, going up into the council, sitting in this council, getting the information that I was bringing through and bringing back here. So there were steps that we were deciding on what needed to happen next, and things like that in the discussion of the group. And then what I would do is bring that here and sort of activate, I suppose, others into this. And for me, it was this knowing, and it was like, yep, okay, this is what's happening. When she sat in and brought through the council, I just went into overwhelm. It was like the proof of what I knew and where I was going, and that these beings had always said we were going to have masters walking this planet. And here I was sitting in the room with these masters, and myself being one. It was this, oh my goodness, you know, and that was from that experience, that was when I really became clear that I was mastered. I wasn't here to try and learn how to be. I already was. My higher awareness, my being. And so therefore it was this clarity for me that I didn't have to learn anymore. It was something I already had within me. It was amazing. And I came out of there in this light state, recognizing that these masters are already walking this earth. You know,
absolutely.
There's no more waiting. We're already here. We've been here for so long. And it was just so cool. And the doubt, everything left. It was like there was no doubt. And I had the actual courage then to be able to also say that out loud, that I am a master. I've you know, been here many times. This is not a training ground anymore. You know?
Exactly. You know, all we're doing right now for us fully awake and on the leading edge of this change, the ones that are here on purpose, all we're doing is actually shaking off our conditioning. That's all we're doing now. We've completed all karma. we're clear of all the previous life stuff that's being carried through in the cellular memory of these bodies. And all we're doing now is shaking off the mind conditioning and blossoming and shining into the truth of who we are. And so we walk upon this earth with deeper and deeper steps in a more solid and commanding of life and deep knowing of reality. And that's the same for so many now around this planet that, and that's our purpose to be here and do that. Yes,
it is. And it's such a beautiful thing when we meet. You know, like meeting you, Janine, there was just such a connection. And I saw the shining one in you. You know, it was like, this is a connection. We've known each other. We do know each other at a very deep level. And it's beautiful to walk into our lives again and meet up on this planet in this form and still recognise and know who we're speaking with and who we're touching hearts with, you know. And combine.
It's a profound thing, isn't it? It's a profound thing when you recognise somebody on that vibrational level, and it's like, there you go. Knew we'd meet up here. We knew it before we come here. We'd meet up here, and there you go. Yes, the shining ones have been such beautiful teachers for me. You mentioning them, they came in about 15 years ago into my bedroom one night. There would have been probably about 8 or 12 in the group. I can't quite remember now. And I just said to them, "Who are you?" And they said, "The shining ones," as they were backing out down this tunnel. And they were, and they are still with me now, but they came through and they spoke and they taught others and they taught me such deeply profound things. And then just a few years ago we merged, and so we're all one energy now, and we speak as a group, you know. So sometimes if I'm with a client and they've got something that they want to say, I'll say we, and then if it's me talking from my point of consciousness, I say I. So I always let the client know at the beginning that if I go from an I to a we, it's just simply that I've expanded, and the group's expanded into me, and I've expanded out to the whole group, you know. And sometimes there's 8 to 12, and sometimes there's literally thousands that have come in as a group, you know, with their consciousness and their message. So yeah.
Beautiful, eh? And so, Janine, you know, because you've often referred to them as your team.
Yeah, I
still do. We all have a team?
Yes, every single human being upon this planet, every beautiful soul in a physical form has a team. So there's not enough physicalness to go around to and a space on this planet to go around for every soul that wants to be here in this physical reality. There's nothing like this anywhere else in this universe. What is offered here for soul to experience itself is just incredible. So many have their hands up for this experience. The emotional roller coaster is the thing that really draws soul to this experience. All the feeling and emotion within every experience is what feeds the soul deeply. It loves it all. There's nothing bad about any of it. It loves every aspect of it. So, but because there's probably, I could say, not enough coats to go around the bodies, a lot come through and they live vicariously through somebody that's in the body, and they come in to support and offer advice and help, but also to experience what that soul within the body is experiencing. And I can also say here that within the body itself, there can be many souls rather than just one soul aspect. So that really stretches a lot of people's knowings, but you know, and what they understand. But yes, in the prominent figures, for instance, like Yeshua or Mother Mary, or those prominent figures in history, there was many souls experiencing that life. So Mother Mary had a couple of hundred different souls experiencing within her. I know that because I was one of those aspects that was experiencing that life. So, and I know quite a few people that were in Yeshua experiencing that life, and quite a few people in King Arthur that could say they were King Arthur, and he wasn't fictional. He was real, and there was many in it. In fact, I brought two friends together one day that both knew King Arthur well and had experienced that life, and they met each other. That was very interesting. But I've gone off track here.
That's awesome, though. And would you, excuse me, in my chesty, would that really would explain why so many people believe they were Mary Magdalene or Christ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because in these big figures that were here for profound change for the humanity of this planet, there was many souls that want to experience that incarnation. So yes, there's aspects of many souls that do that. At the same time, we as a soul have many aspects out in the multiverse experiencing themselves right now. So we have many aspects out there, and there's many aspects of others in here. And on the highest level, of course, we're all one. So, it's like many feet being in the one shoe, and it all fits. So,
It is like that. And I know for myself too, and I presume this is sort of part of that, is that I know I've had two other bodies on this planet, walking this planet, as well as my own. So me in this one, and two other aspects of myself walking this earth.
Have you ever met them? Have you ever met
Not
them?
personally, no, but energetically, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and absolutely. Totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, and what showed up with that is that my higher aspect, or our higher aspect of me, it felt like me was the main part, if you get me, and these two were like the aspects from that. And this, one of them in particular, is in the Afghanistan, over in the war zone, and he can really connected very strongly with me at one point, and that was around fear and the fear of his life being taken. And I was experiencing this here, and I was questioning, why am I feeling this? Like, what is this? It was very strong. And then sat in that, and this guy just came straight forward, and he it wasn't like I was tuning into somebody else. It was actually, I could feel this being me. And it was like looking through his eyes at what was happening around him. And really put a lot into perspective of why I was feeling that. But it was crazy.
Every soul has a soul signature. So you would have been recognizing your own soul signature within him.
Yeah, definitely. And the other aspect was a High Court judge in France, actually. She's French. And at the time her fear stuff came through, she'd actually put the leader of the mafia, Italian mafia, away. And her life had been threatened, and actually there was a bomb placed at her house. And that was when I kept waking up through the night with this name, her name. And I went and Googled her in the morning when I woke up, and she was this High Court judge, and there was all this stuff going on threatening her life. And I then realised why I had been so scared of who was outside of my house. It was like going in this fear state again. And that just put it all into perspective for me. I realised that she was this part.
So closely linked. Yes, so closely linked, like space is nothing. They might as well be in the house with you, living it. Yeah,
totally. Absolutely that. So I just need to pull up these questions again, sorry. So these aspects, like, they're our internal guidance, aren't they? The teams that we're working with are our own internal guidance, yes?
Absolutely, yes. So we have our higher self and our teams, and on a level it's all one source. But then sometimes the teams, for me, I can only speak about my experience, so the team will come in from, to me it appears like they're coming in from the side, whereas my higher self comes in more from the top. So I can feel the separation at times, and then I feel it all as one at other times.
Right. Yeah. The all is one.
Yeah.
The all is one is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So gorgeous.
Yeah. And sometimes the team will come in specifically because there's learning for the team in the experience that I'm having. Yeah. So sometimes they come in as a separate connection because there's learning, and that's my awareness of why at times it's them whispering or guiding or communicating would be the word, and then other times my higher self, my soul energy comes straight in, and it's quite a profound connection for me. So yeah, and then as I say, at times I feel it all as one. It's just all as one.
It's beautiful. And so, Janine, how do you assist people? Like, how are you assisting, in particular in this time of the evolution on the planet, with the earth and humanity?
So my area is heart awareness, is body heart awareness, and so I help people and support people to move away from their mind, which is the part of them that's holding them locked and down in their fears, and I help them move into feeling their life rather than thinking their life. And so when they learn, because it's amazing how many people really don't understand how to feel, don't know how to go down into their body heart awareness and feel their life. So I support them into that journey. It can be the toughest journey, from just up there down into there, and I call it the bottom of the neck is the demarcation line. So to go beneath that, to get out of that area and come down to this area. And so that's my area, is to ignite that spark within every person that's ready to know themselves on that very deep level and expanded level of magnificence. As I say, I love using that word because that is what's at the heart of us all, is this incredible, magnificent power of creation, and we are the master creators. So getting people out of the smallness and into the expandedness of themselves and who they are, and helping them realize that they're here for a reason. And apart from releasing all their own karma and letting go of their smallness, they're actually here to build the new world and to create that and birth that new world through themselves. So every time I'm with somebody in consultation and something ignites in them and they get that eagerness in their eyes light up. It's like I always say to Source, got another one here, got another one, another one on the team.
That's so cool. I know in sessions with clients, for me too, and when there's that switch, that light goes on, it's like all of their soul family behind them are just cheering. It's like this big party. Yes. And it's such a relief to know, obviously, for them that, there's another one now come on board, yay.
Yeah. Another one has shed the cloak of heaviness and opened themselves up to the lightness of life. Yeah.
And we all know too the life changes that happen when that happens to us. There's just so much, life just opens up to you in such a magnificent way because we are that magnificence. It starts Absolutely. Really, commanding it to us and showing up for us. And it's such a exciting, I've always just been excited about life here, but now is just really magic. It's magical.
When we drop the narrowness of our mind and open into the expandedness of our heart, there is so many more possibilities probabilities and opportunities that await us. Always open that would not have opened before because we were so fixed, so rigid, and so focused on beliefs that held us stuck. You know, so to let those go, to slowly let ourselves out of all that and into the fluid flow of reality as it really is, all this always just open, all these possibilities and opportunities come along. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, and it wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened in our reality if we hadn't done that, if we hadn't allowed that to ourselves. So it's just fabulous how life does change as we ourselves change. And it's got to start with us. It cannot start with life. The only time it starts with life is if we've been ignoring or denying something that's been gently pressing, gently pushing at us. Life will make something happen. Our soul, our higher self will make something happen to really push us out of our comfort zone. And I often say to the clients, you know, first of all, life tickles us with a feather to get our attention and say, hey, you know, you could be making a change here, something needs to happen. And if you just deny and distract that from that, it'll throw a brick, and along comes the brick and gives us a real nudge. Come on, you better do something now. If we still are stubborn enough to, or afraid enough to stay in our comfort zones and not make the change, along comes the freight train. And that's normally like heart attack or cancer or car accident or the biggies. The biggies in life come along and then change happens that way because it has to change one way or the other with that. So I say to clients, so why wait for the freight train when you could do it with the feather? Or even with the brick, but the feather would be best, you know.
Absolutely.
That's purely intuition. You feel it, you know, things aren't quite lining up, you better do something. Well, just feeling this a little, better do something. And the only other reason that it will happen without any of the feather and the brick is if it's an experience your soul wants you to have simply for the experience and not for the change. And that will you'll normally go through that experience and then you'll leave your body and go. So that's the other way that we have these big experiences. So time's up, but I want this experience on the way out.
Beautiful, isn't it? And I think, you know, I know for me there was a lot of fear around making change, you know, once I really connected or just realised that when I did pay attention to those nudges without the freight train, because I used to forget the freight train sometimes, when I listened to those nudges and I actioned what I knew was right to be actioned at that time and brought that change forward, I realised how easy it was and how more difficult it was to actually stop that flow, you know, with that fear, stopping it. It was harder to sit there knowing really that, you know, because your being's going to nudge.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a lot more energy to resist change than it actually does to flow into the change. But it's fear that holds us in resistance, you know? Yeah, it's energy zapping to resist what we know we should be doing. Yeah.
Absolutely is. And like now I just jump because you just know, and you get to that point where you trust it, you know, you really do. You can trust it.
Absolutely.
Janine, we're going to do a live session with you at another time after this. And what would it be that you would be offering in that for this show, for the viewers?
I would just come along to that class or that meeting or group and open as myself and allow others to ask questions that they may have sitting with them that they require answers to, and organically let it unfold into what it will be. So I don't have any preconceived topic or anything like that. In this day and age, with so much happening in people's lives, I think it would be best to just bring my openness and ask others to bring their open hearts and minds and let the questions flow.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. And I felt in bringing these intimate conversations to, live to the net, the web, was really to offer ourselves up in a sense as pioneers, because we've been here from the very beginning, moving things, breaking through all the old tradition. I know for myself it was difficult breaking through a lot of the old tradition and what my family or our families would have expected from us in the sense of that old tradition.
Yes.
And so for me, it was really about bringing through the pioneers and showcasing in a sense. And I know you're very much out there, so you don't really need to have that. But for those who haven't, and say this community that we're offering it through, those that haven't actually seen you or sat in your presence in a group will be blown away with the energy and the beauty, because even now today with this, there's such a beautiful energy coming from you, Janine, and you are definitely one of the shining ones. You just, you glow in it. And I know for me, sitting here too, it's opening channels for me. I can feel that. And so I know that those who come into this live recording, even hearing and listening to this one, but the live one's going to be have a bit more presence, I can feel, in the sense of everyone being together in a bigger group. So I would really encourage everyone to come into that. You'll love it. Janine will just be amazing, and her team. So is there any sort of a final remark or anything for the viewers, Janine, that you'd like to say before we close up?
I'd just like to say to them, before we all meet again on the group one, that there is magnificence within you all. And even if you haven't discovered even a spark of that yet, and you've been heavily in your doubt up to this moment, I can promise you that you are no different from any other being on this planet, and we are magnificent beings. Absolutely shining, beautiful beings of pure love, every one of us. And it's waiting for you to go in and discover it. So, that's probably my message in parting today, is the beauty that's contained within every being on this planet is just waiting. Even those that choose not to go through to the new world are absolutely gloriously beautiful, same as everybody else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're experiencing.
Yeah. And sitting in your presence, Janine, I feel the reflection, of that beauty within myself in reflection to your beauty. So it's a beautiful thing, of course.
Thank you,
and
Mandy.
I'm sure everyone else that comes in will see that and feel it as well.
Oh, thank you so much. We're all each other's reflections, aren't we? So, for you to recognise that in me, it must be in you as well, or you wouldn't recognise it otherwise. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Janine, for your time today and your beautiful shares and energy and everything that you're offering to this planet and to the humanity. Everything that you're doing is just beautiful. And I, for one, appreciate you being here and walking this walk as well alongside of me. And it was so lovely to meet you again after many lifetimes.
Yes.
Do this here together. But thank you so much.
It's been a profound pleasure. Thank you. Lots of love, darling lady.
Lots of love.